Hello, welcome to CIO News. I'm Khushbu Soni, your host for the broadcast and chief editor at CIO News. This is our exclusive interview series on the topic of Voice of CIO. It is a recorded session and will be available on our website, that is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn handle. It gives me an immense pleasure in introducing my guest for today. He is Avinash Velhal, the Chief Information Officer for growing markets, that is APAC, Middle East, Africa, and South America at Atos. Avinash is a business technologist with over 34 years of cross-functional experience across different domains, that is IT governance, compliance management, IT outsourcing, infrastructure and service management, software development, vendor management, business delivery, and marketing. Avinash possesses broad competence in strategic management of technical matters with the distinction of launching and driving new IT initiatives, redesigning the IT infrastructure, and has managed a major IT integration across 8,000 employees across 7 metro cities in India in coordination with global teams. With this great experience of Avinash, I'm sure it is going to be an exciting discussion on our another episode of Voice of CIO. Welcome once again, Avinash.
Thank you, Khushbu. So just to give a background, I'm Avinash Velhal for Atos. Atos is a French multinational company into IT and ITES services. And I am responsible for India, APAC, Middle East, Africa, South America. So you can call me the Southern Hemisphere CIO. So it's in that fashion.
Wonderful. Awesome. Avinash, to begin with, I would want to put across the first question. You being a CIO of, a large organization like Atos and also managing different markets, what does your typical day look like?
Oh, typical day starts from Australia, ends in South America. So it's 24/7. It's most of the times, it's basically across 5 continents, 5 cultures, and more than 38 plus countries. So things keep me on my toes and keep me excited. So a lot of stuff happening.
Wonderful. Awesome. Great. Okay, my next question is, what is the business virtualization as per you? And, how can virtualization technology benefit the IT services industries? If you can highlight with your thoughts around that.
Okay. So far we have done server virtualizations, we have done network virtualizations, and now is a point, what we're talking about is digital business virtualization. So by that, what do we mean? Like today, the new norm where everybody is working remote, you have digital endpoints and workspaces available. Nobody's going to come back to the old ways of operating where you're going to have, some resource will be hybrid mode of environment. Now, digitalization was a part of landscape for most of the organization, but the timelines will maybe 7 years plus. But with this pandemic coming into place, all those timelines have been crunched, and within a year, most of the digitalization activities have been pushed or people are taken up. So what's happening is we have a new recover, realign, and re-innovate environment for IT. So we restarted, realigned, and we are reworking. But what is essential is that with the new normal, how are you going to take care of the new business? Because the old way of working are not going to work. Like if I really look at my NOC, they are not going to be working in the perimeterized environment which was there earlier. Today, we have a completely open system, users coming from anywhere. Today, my help desk is swamped with so many alerts coming from all over the place, which is not really perimeter control. So the environment is totally new, at a new environment, and everybody is demanding service as of now. So in this context, what is also essential is business needs to get virtualized or the outcome. So how are they going to get a customer satisfaction in? How their CRM is going to be in place? So what is essentially required is today we have to virtualize the business. That by that means taking care of all this, re-architecting the IT processes, facilitating the new norm, leveraging the revised business landscape. You need to be focusing on the latest technology, maybe the chatbots and all that stuff, and you need to digitalize the business. So digitalization has always been the portfolio, but now it has to make a 10x impact, and you have to digitalize across the enterprise. It's no more okay to just digitalize a process or a digitalize a function over there. What is essentially required is how does my entire business gets digitalized and leverages the new economy, and
Right.
how do my process are focused around that. So that's what is basically this new term what has come up as digital business virtualization, wherein you have to now virtualize the environment, take care of remote working, knowledge base. The way we are operating now, it's the new norm, and for that you
Correct.
need to have a new architecture, the new setups, and the new processes and new people also, because you need to develop your skills also to take care of this. So it's a completely holistic end-to-end focus and approach. How do I virtualize the business? It's a big challenge as of now. If you
Right.
don't virtualize, you are nowhere.
Correct. Correct. Very true. Okay, my next question is what kind of secure and safe future can artificial intelligence give to the IT services industry?
Uh, okay, so now data is the new oil of the enterprise. And when I'm talking about virtualized business, you are going to work from all over endpoints. You need to deploy virtualized tools. And with data coming in, you are going to have a huge sum of information coming across. How are you going to manage it? Like today, if I'm going to have my connectors, I'm getting swamped. My help desk is getting swamped with so many calls.
Right.
My network operating system NOC environment is totally redundant because I won't be able to really see each user is become an office now.
Right.
So how do you manage this? So that's where the data AI portion comes in, wherein you need to automate, basically augment your workforce. Artificial intelligence is a wide-ranging tool that enables people to rethink how we integrate information, analyze data, and use the resulting insights to improve the
Right.
decision making. So now with the data explosion, we need to classify that, categorize it. So big data is come into picture. That has to be processed through all these AI toolings, and with that you gain insights. So with those insights, how do I augment my workforce with prescriptive analysis from AI?
Right.
Another important aspect is cybersecurity. So with security being a state-sponsored terrorism now landscape, and especially with this new normal where everybody is anywhere operating from anywhere, cybersecurity becomes to a forefront. And to manually do it, because I can't have a single tool managing security, you'll have to have a mesh of tools which
Right.
takes care of various aspects, authenticating, processing, trying to process data, see the patterns, look at it. So earlier, if in a perimeterized office, it was at least your entry points were managed, the gateways were managed. But in the new environment, zero trust kind of environment, you won't be able to really make sense of whatever alerts sense are coming in. So definitely, a AI kind of thing is going to be a must, where it provides you all those insights.
Right.
uh, you are deploying so many resources and cloud technology. You're putting across investments into cloud. Now how do you optimize those resources? It's manually is becoming very difficult. So you
Correct.
need an AI tooling which will help you look at what is the utilization pattern, the time of stay, geographies, etc. And it's not only provisioning, quick deprovisioning. All these things need to get automated. So all these aspects are making AI very critical in today's environment, where you automate various business tasks, you increase to employee productivity, you need to have to speed up the business processes. Like in Gartner, you have to have hyper automation in place,
Yeah.
and at the same time reducing business human error, because that's where with the kind of data a single error can just replicate and multiplicate into huge issue incident. So ensuring all these things definitely needs kind of an AI environment wherein you handle the whole stuff.
Right. Awesome. Great. And what are the top use cases for machine learning applications across different business functions in the IT and services industry?
um, okay, so AI technology basically is depends on the maturity of the organization. But the traditional, at least there have been so many use cases on basically classification, processing, analysis algorithms. But to touch base a few, which is like really touches everyone, is you can have AI examples like where you have chatbots, which will capture and automate your help desk functions and try to derive information and knowledge base and try to reduce your workforce load, and also give a incident management report which can be augmented with the AI algorithm at the back.
Right.
Uh, Second is speech recognition, natural language processing, which is now catching on in a huge way. Earlier, maybe Alexa and Google Assistant were very new, but now they are coming into mainstream line, wherein you are utilizing it for a lot of voice processing, which requires a natural language processing requiring a lot of algorithms and optimization, wherein AI comes in and a lot of work is being done, which is called conversational AI, wherein
Right.
you have robotics coming in. It's more of a natural processing across happening. Uh, Next is maybe image recognition and video recognition, face recognition. That technology, especially when coming up, augmented reality and virtual reality, is coming to fore. Also, in terms of taking care of your security aspects, because more and more video monitoring, capturing is going to come into place. These are the ones which are going to get utilized, authenticating, using, trying to make analysis of what are the various aspects of images, graph analysis, sentiment processing. All those kind of processing requires huge AI power technology behind that. And then sentiment analysis in terms of your communication engine, recommendation engines, trying to see what are the patterns coming in. So these are the ones which like offhand are generic ones, which will move across all the enterprise in fashion, whatever is like kind of use cases required. But the baseline of across all enterprises, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be the cyber security and AI ops. These are the two critical ones which will be definitely across the entire gamut of this thing. And looking at future perspective, it may be like social network analysis, robotics and industry 4.0, all those things, audio analytics, visualization. This will be
Right.
kind of upcoming areas which AI will definitely contribute.
Correct. Right. Awesome. Um, my next question is, what are the building blocks of digital transformation that can help the industry to succeed in the current scenario?
Okay. Primarily, the building block is going to, if I restrict to IT, is going to be AI ops, wherein you need artificial intelligence operations, which will simplify IT operations and accelerate and automate problem resolution. Because today's environment are pretty complex and they're going to be further complex. If I'm going to have multiple tool set like RPA, my big data setup, a data lake, all those environments need to get processed. And then for that, you need to have a machine learning algorithms in place, and the analysis can be done by AI. So that's the area which is taking up in a huge way. I mean, recently even all the vendors are partnering with AI tools and tooling so that uh, AI ops solutions equip IT operations and other teams to improve the process, the task, and decision making. See,
Right.
it's humanly becoming very difficult to understand the correlation between different systems. Environment are being monitored, generate a large amount of data, and decision making is very difficult because we can't really think across the patterns.
Correct.
And IT operations has a difficulty in prioritizing which issues for different solution because it's a large volume. I mean,
Right.
they first need to reduce the weight from a shaft. That is unnecessary, redundant calls and alerts have to be eliminated. Then whatever are alerts are there, they have to be linked with your infrastructure, traceability, and see which fault are really generating the major incident. And that requires a lot of complex processing, which is
Right.
difficult as of today. Even the tech teams are struggling to manage the software and infrastructure performance. in real time in a proactive way, because it is, as you understand, even for a setting up a conference, so many times you face so many challenges. And imagine kind of complex legacy applications, off the shelf applications, vendor applications, all this has to work to seamlessly on the infrastructure, where you have somebody bringing his own device, you have your own device, and trying to work in a cloud environment, and juggling all these balls together, and ensuring, especially in the new normal, wherein the user is remote and your customer experience is of utmost importance. Nowhere any other before a time user experience has been so critical, and with the current kind of environment, so you need to have a proactive tooling which gives you proactive alerts so that you can take up action before it happens. It also ensures that you give a proper user experience, because that's what is more today. If 10 seconds your site doesn't respond, the user goes off to something else, and we don't have that much. And if you don't have the kind of your environment sized and worked, and provision and deprovision in a instant, like a snap, which is not humanly possible, you will have challenges. So it is more and more becoming very difficult to work without this. And managing key operational problems with domain specific tools are there, but we don't have an end-to-end experience, like what is my customer feeling, what is my image brand, what is my process, how is my knowledge team working, are they provision enough with the kind of scenario. It's not only external facing, looking internal facing also. Whatever your user personas you are deployed, are they sufficiently provisioned with the right kind of infrastructure, the right kind of application, the right kind of access, the right kind of authorization. All this contribute to a very end user transparent experience, which has to be catered to. And it's a big ask right now in the current landscape.
Awesome. Great. My one last question before we end the episode, Avinash. Any suggestions, best practices, or certain do's and don'ts that you can share with our fellow CIOs from the community?
Okay. I won't keep it tech. I will simplify it. It's very, actually, knowledge is very simple, but we fail to apply it. Today, first thing what you need to look at is re-architect your IT landscape, because what we are having for ages, which was comfortable handling pre-pandemic, will no more work now. So you really need to relook at your architecture, how it is, whether it supports the things like I have a modern endpoint system. Do I have the correct AI operations into place? Do I have the right kind of training provided to the end user? Are they my workforce? Is it having a proper exposure to security aspects, to the process aspects, and kind of stuff. So first, very foremost is realign your IT architecture in sync with the digital outcomes, because we can't no more have old architecture in place. I'm not saying rip and replace everything, but looking at your enterprise, what is your digitalization landscape? If you're looking at, as I was mentioning, the business virtualization, what are the key aspects of your business which today are working on old architecture, which definitely needs a replace, and have a roadmap to replace and implement those. Number one. Number two is a fragmented governance. Today, the governance of disparate processes is highly fragmented. You don't have a kind of a layer of governance to collaborate and across platforms, ensure better usage and findability. More advanced collaboration kind of such is required, which can't happen unless you have a uniform governance across the enterprise, which is a big challenge today. You may have the tools approval, you may have the training of people, but if you lack a proper governance, what kind of technology, what kind of architecture, what kind of experience you need to put in, the governance causes most heartburns. So if something is not working, you need to step in, fix the technology, step in, fix the process, or fix the skill. These are three areas you need to have a clear-cut governance standards, which is very, very critical. The next part I would advise is what is your process automation, whether it's properly aligned or it's misaligned. A lot of people in an enthusiasm go ahead and deploy automation, which may, optimize a set of process, but the delivery is across end-to-end processes. So is it creating a hurdle or generating too much of load for the next process, or it's like being a bottleneck for other processes? So if I go to erstwhile Goldratt examples, if you must have read Goal, your Herbie in the whole process has to be really looked into. So what is your automation strategy? It's just not like you optimize one end of the enterprise and leave rest. So it has to be holistic look across, because the process has to flow. It cannot say, okay, I have one process, I mean, I'm done, my digitalization is done. Sorry, you won't work. And that's happening most often. And reskill, relearn programs for workforce, as already everybody has talked. And it is essential that we need to realign and reskill, because the new architecture required new skills, and relearning is very, very critical. So harmonizing this is very important. Plus, if you really look at our workforce, it's going to work in a hybrid mode. How are you harmonizing the digital workplace and physical workplace? If you don't have a proper strategy, because now that is going to be the norm, you will work some part in office, some part at home, some part at client space. So what are the tooling set, what is the experience, whether the process is uniform or not, the governance in place, is going to cause a lot of challenge. If your workforce is not comfortable, aligned, or not guided through with a very good digital experience, you definitely will not be able to give that experience across to your customer. So that is a big ask which is happening. So maybe these are 3-4 things we need to look at.
Awesome. Wonderful insights, Avinash. And thank you for sharing all your learnings and your best practices with us and to all our followers through this episode of ours. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of learnings and key takeaways. So thank you once again for joining us on the Voice of CIO episode.
Thanks. It was a pleasure for me too.
Pleasure to have you.